was getting him off his stretcher to get into a wheelchair, and as soon as he got up, there was just poop everywhere, and I can't tell you how bad that smell was. What is up, people? It is Lucy May and welcome back to another video. So today, well, first off, I just want to say I know my Christmas tree is still up. I have yet to take ours down yet. I know that Christmas is over, and I don't know how long you guys keep up your Christmas trees, but my dad likes to leave ours up for a little bit. So I thought I'd turn the lights on because it is kind of a pretty background. So anyways, today's video is going to be about what it's like working in a hospital. So I am not a nurse, I'm not a doctor. I am actually just a transporter. You don't need any type of experience or anything like that. I am going to school for radiology right now. So later on I am going to be giving x-rays to patients. So right now, I'm just gonna work as a transporter, get really good experience working in a hospital and get the feel for it. And our department is actually under radiology, so I know a lot of the techs there, and I know a lot about x-rays just from working as a transporter. So basically what a transporter does is they transport patients around the hospital. We don't transport them from anywhere from the hospital, we just transport them inside of the hospital. Like if they need to go to a CT scan or an MRI, or if they're being discharged, or getting an x-ray, or maybe they're going to dialysis, things like that. We're just there to go and get them and bring them to where they need to go. So I really do love my job. I love the people I work with. I've been working as a transporter since May, and it's been my very first hospital job. Before that, I worked as a cashier actually for 3 years. So it was a big change from working as a cashier to going straight into a hospital. So that was kind of hard for me. It's really scary having a sick patient in your hands and moving them. And what if they code, and what if you have to perform CPR? You do have to be CPR certified for this job. But anyways, so I know that was like a super long intro, but this is what my job is. I am a transporter. All I do is move patients around the hospital, and I love interacting with patients, and I really do love my job. So I'm going to explain to you guys what it's really like working in a hospital and some of my like horror stories of working in a hospital. So if you are afraid of needles or blood or feces or anything like that, I would click out of this video because I am going to be telling stories related to those things. But I mean, this is a video about a hospital, so you kind of would expect those things. It kind of makes me sad how a lot of patients are really, really sick, and they can't help that they're covered in their own pee or poop, and I'm supposed to move them, and sometimes their room just smells really bad, sometimes they smell bad, and it just makes me sad how I have to see people like this, and but you do get used to it, and you know what, it's just my job. And so I always tell my patients, like, I really hope you feel better and stuff like that, because I do want them to feel better. But my second day of training on this new job, actually, literally my second day at this job, I already had a first horror story. I almost passed out. So I have something called emetophobia, which means fear of vomit. And I won't let myself vomit. I don't remember the last time I ever threw up. I do not like watching people throw up. I can deal with it on TV or like in a movie, and I used to actually not be able to watch it on a screen. But I've gotten a lot better about it, especially from working in a hospital, and my fear is definitely a lot less severe as it used to be, but I still do have a fear, and it really sucks because I deal with that a lot working in a hospital. But second day of training, I was with a preceptor, which is someone who trains you, so a trainer. We had gone and got this man for a CT scan, and we went downstairs, we took him downstairs, and we were getting him on the table, and this man, he was so sick. He was very malnourished, he was very skinny, he was skin and bones. And he got on the table, and he kind of got on it on a weird way, and it was painful for him. And he started like yelling like he was in pain, and then he said, I'm gonna throw up, and I lost it. My face went completely white. I lost all the blood circulation to my brain. I was feeling okay for like 5 seconds, and then I started seeing stars, like I started graying out completely, and I was like, I need to go sit down. So I went to the CT room where the techs sit and take the pictures, and I went and sat down there, and I kind of put my head down, and if I had not sat down at that time, I would have been on the ground. I would have passed out. But it's just kind of, you deal with a lot of that. You deal with a lot of sudden circumstances, like people, a patient is gonna throw up, or a patient is gonna cough up something, and you need to get like one of those vomit bags, or a patient is in pain, or they can't breathe and they're coding, and it's just a lot. It freaks me out when things suddenly happen and it's out of my control. So that happened. I started feeling better after about an hour, and I got back into my job. I didn't give up. I didn't quit my job just because of that one experience. I was like, I'm gonna get used to this. It's gonna be great. That was my first horror story, but it's really just not fun watching a person throw up. Who wants to watch someone throw up or hear someone throw up, But anyways, other than vomit, there is a lot of stories, like people with C. diff, which is a bacteria that messes up your GI tract. So they kind of have to go to the bathroom a lot, and they kind of just have no control over anything. And so I had this patient, I don't know, he didn't have C. diff, but he had some type of GI problem. And I was getting him off his stretcher to get into a wheelchair so that I could move him upstairs. And as soon as he got up, there was just poop everywhere. And I can't tell you how bad that smell was. Anyways, so the nurse was like, oh, you're still having like diarrhea? Like, I guess you are. And so I got him into the wheelchair, and this poor man he was so weak, he couldn't even like hold himself up in the wheelchair. And as soon as I got him out of the ER, he was like, I need to take a crap. And I was like, oh boy, I'm taking you back into the ER so we can get you to the bathroom. And I was like, just cancel my job. I'm gonna come back later whenever he's ready, and then we'll probably take him up in his stretcher instead of a wheelchair. So that was kind of gross, but you know what? I'm used to that. I deal with that a lot. I deal with colostomy bags. I deal with Foley catheters. People with like cystic fibrosis, they have one of those containers full of literally mucus from their lungs. Like they have a tube in their lungs, and it sucks all of it out. I've gotten used to a lot of things though. I've had patients that just got in really bad car accidents. I had this man that literally got run over by a tractor, and of course he was in the ICU. He had broken like 8 ribs, and I was taking him to get a CT scan, and so that was just crazy. You just see everything. You just deal with a lot, and you deal with really crazy patients. I've had patients verbally sexually harass me, and I had to file incident reports on them, but everything's good now. I've never had a patient I've had them grab me if they were like moving over to a table. I've had that happen, but not like grab me as in like they want to hurt me. I've never had that happen, but I'm sure nurses have at some point. So this is basically what it's like working in a hospital. You just deal with a lot of sick people, and they're in bad moods because they're in a hospital. They just don't want to be there. I've had patients kind of yell at me, just not wanting me in the room with them. And all I'm trying to do is just like get them to go get their scan. I've had patients refuse to go. I've had patients freak out on me. People that are claustrophobic and don't want to get in the MRI scan, I have to take them back. It's just so crazy. But other than all those crazy stories, I do have, good patients that are, maybe just have a headache or like a stomach ache or something like that, and they're super easy and follow directions of what they need to do. And then all the patients that are very cooperative. So basically that's it. I mean, you just deal with a lot of poop, a lot of vomit, a lot of blood. So if you can't deal with any of that, or like needles and stuff, I definitely don't think working in a hospital or working in healthcare is for you. But I love my job, even though I had a huge fear of different things when I first started. I'm definitely a lot better at my job now, and I don't get scared of things as easily. So if you guys wanted me to do a part 2 on this video, I definitely could, because I have endless horror stories from working in a hospital. And I've only been working here for 7 months. And I just have endless stories. So if you guys want me to do a part 2, let me know. But that's pretty much it. Comment down below any of your horror stories if you also work in a hospital. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.